Hey coaches, how you doing? It's Coach Eric and Coach Mark, coachestrainingroom.com. I hope you're doing excellent. We're happy to be here live with you today. We're going to dig right into the session and the training. And today is Monday for our weekly live Mondays with Coach Mark, Coach Eric. So we are ready to rock. My name's Coach Eric. I'm the co-owner of Coach's Training Room along with Coach Mark. It's been an awesome journey. And what crazy times we are in, but we are always learning, growing, and I know some of you coaches are even able to train with possibly with some restrictions and things like that, but at least you're able to get on the field and connect with your team in real life a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna dig right in today because we're a little bit late today. But how you doing over there, Coach Mark?
Doing good, yeah. Today is, as you mentioned, some sort of return to normal. There's a few more restrictions lifted, so yeah, we're doing good. As I say, just glad to be here. This is like a little break from the norm for me, is coming on and talking some soccer. So hopefully, as the weeks go by from here, we can start talking a bit more specific. Obviously, people's experiences when they're on the field and how we actually get back to what is now the potential new normal with the relaxing of the rules, etc. So yeah, just to dive in more or less straight away, just a little recap for anybody who is joining us for the first time. My name is Mark, and I live in just south of Manchester in England. And Eric and I have been doing this for I think it is about 8 years, Eric. I think there's a little confusion. I don't know. It's been so long that we just lose all track of dates and times. But I'm pretty sure it's about 8 years now we've been running with Coach's Training Room. So it's been excellent. You know, we've learned a ton from each other. From coaches that we're working with, and again, my own coaching journey took me across to the States and working with club teams as a coach trainer, coach mentor, helping out with recreational soccer as well and AYSO clubs and teams. So it was a really, really mixed bag, but as part of it, I got exposed to a lot of coaches from a lot of different backgrounds, and that's part of what I put down my own coaching methods and ideas too, is having that availability of seeing other coaches at work, because the beauty of Coach's Training Room and what we put forward is the fact that there are hundreds of different ways to arrive at the same destination, and that is ultimately the goal. So it would be really boring, as I mentioned the other week, if there was one way to coach, the one perfect way to coach, then the games would be pretty boring to watch if everyone was playing the perfect game. So the idea is we can all be great coaches, all with our own different styles, different methods, and that's partly what we try and bring to you, is ideas and methods in a really sort of digestible form. Maybe just highlighting some ideas that may sound simple. Sometimes the stuff I go over can sound quite basic, but again, sometimes it's nice to hear it from a different person's perspective, so that you can apply it to your own methods. And it's always great. You know, we never ever stop learning. Even the professional coaches are got their head in a book or learning or watching more soccer, because you know, we never ever do finish learning. The day that we decided that we know it all, you know, is the day we lost. So I'm going to dive straight into the topic, Eric, if that's okay with you.
Yes, we got passing patterns of play during training. So we're going to go right into it. And yeah, that's why if I feel a little rushed, or if I sound a little rushed, that's why I didn't want coaches to miss out. And I know it's late there in England, so I want to get right into the training today. So thanks so much, Coach Mark. Let's get rolling. So again, the topic for today is passing patterns of play during training.
Yeah. Now, the previous week, I think I was talking a little bit about social distancing within practice, because ultimately I think as restrictions ease, and it's going to vary by area for sure, but I think there will be an element of and Eric, when we were speaking in our meeting earlier today, you'd mentioned there that some places are returning, but without the scrimmages, without the practice games. and without the contact. So
Mhm.
with that in mind, as coaches, we're going to have to adapt now to make sure that the time that we're spending is not is still quality time. If you follow Coach's Training Room for a while, and again, we haven't reinvented the wheel with what we're saying here, but we do try and follow a pattern with our session plans. The way that we build them out is the technique in its purest form. So just focusing on the technique of the day, and then you slowly build the pressure in increments so that you can actually maintain the. It should be scalable and achievable so that players can actually really sort of consolidate what they're picking up throughout the session, building into a conditioned small-sided game, which I've talked about weeks prior as well. So if you'd missed the weeks previous, just go back and check those out, because there was a couple of session ideas that we put in there for you with regards to small-sided games. So with that in mind, that we're not going to be able to move into the full pressure, we're going to have to cap it at passive pressure, really. We're going to have to find a way of working smart so that we can actually make the most of our sessions. So when we're talking about passing patterns of play, now great teams seem to be able to create some sort of dominance in areas that can be numerical superiority, just dominating space, dominating areas. What they're doing is not magic. It is about building pressure, creating the numerical situation to your advantage. So I'm just going to, if we can you see the tactical board okay there, Eric?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put you on speaker view so we can.
So you can see the full screen. It's a little bit clearer
there.
Yeah. So if we were to look at this just a situation as is, so we've got a 3 against a 4 here. This player is going to find themselves in a little bit of trouble. They're going to be numbers down situation in this particular area. So we have the 3. Now, we'll start a play with the ball. That'll give us a chance. It's about making either creating a little bit of superiority or just creating a bit more of an even balance in as few passes as possible. And that's where we come to understand our angles and our runs off the ball as well to create that sort of dominance, or if not dominance, just a bit more of a numerical parity, if you like. So if we start with here, if you just a very, very simple passing pattern of play would be to drop the ball into this player who is facing, they've got their back to goal at this point. They might be on the half turn, but they've got the pressure here. So they're not going to be able to influence the play all that much other than to drop the ball back. So if they were to just push the ball back into this space, it's going to force one of these players into the midfield and allow this player to run off the ball. So now we've just inverted the triangle that we started with, and we've got 2 players in a little bit more of an advanced position. One is on the turn. So if you'd watched any previous weeks, I was talking about corner flags. This player here has made the run, but they're looking at the ball, so they can see this corner flag, and effectively in doing so, they can see this chunk of the field. Sorry, my pen's a little running out there. Can you see the lines I've drawn there, Eric, or not so clearly? Here we go. So this player here can see this much of the field.
Yeah, that's good. Good enough. Yeah. We can see it.
Perfect. So if the ball was to be dropped back into this position here, you're talking about the players making a movement again off the ball. It could be that this player is going to try and make a run on the inside here, which is going to possibly draw a player out this way, in which case we're looking at running off the ball into this area. Now you'll notice at every point in this, we've always had a triangular connection between the 3 players in this point. So play with the ball here, we're looking at a little triangle here. If I just rewind to where we were at the very, very start, we had, and I mentioned inverting the triangle. So all I'm meaning here is all these 3 players are in contact with each other at all times. As it is, we have 2 defensive-minded players, 1 attacking-minded player here in this situation who is outnumbered. So as we drop the ball back into here, and we push the ball back in, so we drag this player into a little bit more of a position where they can actually make some passes. The ball is back with them the way that they're facing. If this player is running off the ball here, and maybe we're just creating a little bit of width for ourselves, we've just inverted the triangle so that before we had the pressure here, here, and here, the triangle this way. As you can see now, all we've done is actually just invert that, so we've got a little bit more option, a little bit more availability on the field. So that was just a small practical example. And Eric, I shared a little video with you before we came on live. We'd in the last week, I ran through a little session with the tactical board. I've just gone ahead and animated that. So if you want to just share your screen and let it run through, it's a very, very simple. Again, no pressure, just passing patterns of play exercise. I'll just be quiet and let it play through now. So yeah, just a really, really simple way to force us to create the angles that we're looking for. So it's a simple pass, maybe 12 yards, and feel free to shorten the dimensions as you see fit. But a 12-yard pass, just to make sure that we're connecting with those passes. Player's going to drop short. Their first touch is to lay the ball back off into the path of the advancing player and loop around the back of that cone. So you're looking at a pass to feet, a cushioned pass into the path of the runner, and then a through ball into the path of the ongoing attacker. So a couple of different passes to look at here. Just a really, really simple way of getting the players to, again, make the angles, make the understanding with each other as well for those passes, because the understanding is important. We need to know, because, you know, if one player doesn't run, that falls down. And also the way that we're moving force, it really, really exaggerates those angles. If we played that very narrowly, Eric, if you wouldn't mind just sharing my my screen again, if we just take that back to the that inverted triangle that I was looking at, if the pass was too narrow, let's say, for example, we drop the ball back into the space. Let's say we're starting to rewind completely. If we drop the ball back into here, and this player makes that same run down the line, and we pass the ball back into here, that's quite a narrow. It's quite a narrow target to be aiming for. So what I was looking at, again, it's just that simple creation of angles. If we play that ball to feet in here, and we expect that player to make the run, it's very narrow. Whereas if we actually drag the player into play by passing the ball into the space where they could move to, that's going to give us the chance to firstly bring them into play, but secondly make the runs off that. And whilst we could do from there, it's just encouraging them to, you're dragging that player into the move, and you're making the movements off there. So I'm really, really just scratching the surface, but you can train in a specific way without the ball that's going to really, really encourage players to build an understanding with each other. And again, when it comes down to it, it might be that we have to scrimmage in certain ways where we'll condition it so that we're not actually challenging for the ball. All we're doing is intercepting the passes. So that's really going to bring to the fore everything that we're looking at in the practices now with the patterns of play. It's going to keep your first touch nice and sharp, because there's lots and lots of good touches here in small groups. With the session that we just run through there, that was only 4 players in that area, and if you run through that nice and quick, that's hundreds of touches, in a very, very short space of time. So it's going to be focusing on your first touch, making sure that the passing range is increasing, and that's going to translate to the field when we're allowed back to it. It might be that we are allowed to scrimmage just without without actually challenging for the ball. We could just intercept passes, in which case this is going to be vital, this sort of stuff, because if we have an understanding of where the player can move to, and the sort of numerical dominance that we can show in certain areas, if we can make the angles work for us, then we're going to be able to build from there and really translate it to the field when that time comes.
Yep, and it looked really familiar, Mark. That's actually in our passing skills builder, which actually I created a link because it was so popular. We made it free, and there's a bunch of great sessions in there, activities like this, like with the video that you just saw. Especially if you are new to us, this is how we train. This is how we walk through sessions. So if you go to coachestrainingroom.com/passing skills builder, you will go directly to our passing skills builder 4-week session plan, which this is one of them in there. I think it's for the first week, Mark, right?
Quite possibly. Yeah.
It's in the first week. So check that out. There's a ton of great resources. We've gotten a lot of compliments on that. It is one that we were at the beginning contemplating making it part of a paid package, but we decided, oh, let's throw it out there. Let's put it on the site for free. Just give it out for value. And those of you that may not have the funds right now to pay for our online session program, this is how you get some value here. We have tons of blog posts as well that you'll find valuable. We have sessions in there for free as well. So definitely dig into the Passing Skills Builder, coachestrainingroom.com/passing skills builder. Check it out for free. And then if you want to go further, we do offer a lot of advanced or further session plans, more activities that you can add into your training program. Whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced coach, you'll definitely find some sessions in there that you can use right out of the box or absolutely tweak as needed based on your coaching style. But yeah, very, very good. We try to simplify it as much as possible. As you see through these videos, there's not a ton going on. We try to keep it that simple with the animations. Very easy with the circles, different colors, and the soccer ball and the field. That's it. So it's easy to understand what's going on, and we can talk through the coaching points very easily while you've been able to see it visually.
And just to go back to it, crucially, we are guided by you as well as coaches. Right now, this is my projection of how I believe this will probably play out in terms of the low contact, no contact version of the game that we're going to go back to playing, just based off of the current guidance. Now, this could change in a week. It could be completely different. So I'm very much guided by you. So if there's anything that you would like to see in terms of sessions, ideas, perhaps we get into some theory-based stuff. I could do these the animations and the kind of tactical breakdowns all day. That's something that's I enjoy doing. But if there's anything that you as coaches, as viewers, want to see more of, then just please let us know in the comments, because we're more than happy to be guided by you and provide something that is ultimately worthwhile. Because that as it stands, with Eric and I are just going off what basic information has been provided to us by governments. But again, we're obviously we try to be we're small in stature, but we are also we're global in that sense that we're a resource for anyone who is a coach of soccer or football worldwide. So it will vary by country, it will vary by region. So if you do want to see anything, please don't be afraid to pop it in the comments, and we will definitely take the time to try and put something together for that.
Yeah, and let us know how this has been affecting you as a coach, what's going on in your country or area of the world, and let us know what's happening there. If you are able to get out on the field with your players, maybe with some restrictions, let us know. We'd be curious to know about that. And then also we are doing these lives and basically providing the value, the sessions for you to take time to go through them and implement them. So that's why we archive these, we save them, so you can easily go and maybe you're watching us live, you can go back to it, fast forward to the exact session that we do the walkthrough, and walk through it with your team, share it with them on the Zoom. We're not saying you have to watch like our whole video, but we hope that you're taking the snippets that you feel are of value with your team, with your coaching style, like that you want to point out, and utilize that. It's just maybe a little piece here, a little piece there from that video, a little piece here, and share it with your teams. I'm sure a lot of you, it's maybe going through each video, finding the sessions in there that Coach Mark walks through, some of the coaching points, and visually showing your players, okay, here's what we're going to do. Planning ahead, saying, hey, here's what we're going to work on next week. We're able to get out on the field. Here's one of the activities we're going to run through, and let's go through it real quick. Here's how it works visually, so they're prepared and ready and can go through any questions they have. So we hope that you're doing that, pulling out the pieces of each video from our lives, going back to them and reviewing them with your teams, or at least taking some knowledge, writing out some notes, and then taking them onto your teams, because that's our whole goal. That's why we're here. We're hoping that you're taking bits and pieces and learning from them, and we also learn from you coaches as well. So thanks for the comments, the likes. We got Coach Kenny on that joined us. We got a few other coaches on as well. Again, every week we're on Monday from 5 to 5:30 with myself and Coach Mark, and we're happy to answer any questions. These will be archived, so feel free to put your questions in the comments. We will see them, and we'll acknowledge and get back to you with the best answers we can possibly come to. And we hope that you're staying safe and you're able to a lot of coaches around here are kind of getting back into the physical teams, getting out on the field with some restrictions, of course. So, all right, that's it for today. Coach Mark, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, really, maybe just to follow on from what you'd mentioned there. I think with this, speaking personally as well, and I know you and I, Eric, we discussed off the call in our earlier meeting. I think everyone to a degree started off with a plan at the very, very start of all this with all right, I'm going to stay active, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, I'm going to learn a second language. I don't know what it'll be. We're no different. Yeah, you and I, Eric, we'd already mentioned that. Sometimes I think it can go on so long that the things can wane. So we've tried to keep these really consistent, because it's very, very easy to get sort of caught up in the fact that there's not really a great deal going on in certain areas, and you can kind of it's as addictive doing things and training and learning, and it's that creativity that breeds more action and more enthusiasm, and then it's easy to go the other way as well. So we've tried to stay consistent with this. So if you get anything out of these lives, as Eric mentioned there with the short clips, if there's anything that just pops out to you that just sparks a little bit of that creativity again, and that thirst for new knowledge, then we're really happy that that's been the case. It looks like we might have a couple of comments on, Eric, if you're happy for me to go ahead and
oh yeah,
just answer a couple. I'm talking slowly now because I've lost my page. There we go. With the Narendra had messaged a little while ago and has been super patient, so thanks for that. It was match analysis. The things that just to simplify, if I can, I'm assuming, Narendra, you're talking about maybe watching a game with your players and things to pick out. My number one tip would be to try and watch the game or watch 5 minutes of the game without watching the ball. And what I mean by that is, can you see how the play develops? So can you tell me, without looking at the ball, which team has the ball for your players? Which one is set up defensively, which one is set up to attack? Even if you just paused the game and just looked at the still screen, who's got the ball, who doesn't have the ball? Can you tell me that? And then can you tell me why? So that would be my number one, just a super quick tip. If you do need more, Narendra, just let us know in the comments again, and we'll happily try and elaborate on this. And Eddie's message got a couple of teams there, so hopefully you can get back to that full-time job of 2 teams very soon. That's pretty.
It seems like a majority of the coaches that are a part of Coach's Training Room have more than one team, which
they're all crazy like us.
Yeah, and again, real quick, coaches, while you're looking for that, Mark. I put the link to the Passing Skills Builder 4-week session plan in the comments. I pinned it in the comments, so you should see it there. coachestrainingroom.com/passing skills builder. So you should see that in the comments.
And then Kevin's just messaged there about the 10 by 10 yard boxes. I think that was that. I think we might, that's something I had heard as well. So that's an interesting concept. I wonder how that'll change in time. And Eddie, I'll dive into that with you in the comments afterwards with the so the patterns of play there, because that's there's a little bit of unpacking to do there. So I will jump in that with the comments with you after this. But as far as today's topic goes, I was trying to keep it quite simple. It was really just me projecting how this may go. We don't know really. It could be, fingers crossed, we get back to normal a lot quicker than that. But it might be that this is the potential new normal, is that we're working with concepts and ideas outside of full contact. So hopefully we can share some ideas as we go. And that's everything from me, Eric. Have you got anything more?
Thanks, coaches, for commenting and sharing your thoughts.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that feedback. We're not going anywhere. We're here to help you. We're always here each and every week from Monday, and also on social media. This is how we're based, is virtual. And the reason we did that is, we're mainly virtual is because we can reach as many coaches as possible with your questions, with video, with pretty much how the world's working right now. So, but we've been doing this for about, around 9 years now, doing with Coaches Training Room, doing as much virtually as possible and saving it through video so we can use it over and over again, because what we taught through video 8-9 years ago is still vital today, and we archive that, and we do bring that back about, just like we talked about, just like we did right now, that passing skills builder we made years ago, but it's still relevant to today, and especially now where we have to keep our distancing and we're working on passing. So we shared that for a specific reason, because that's how we're going to have to practice, at least at this point in time. So that passing skills builder definitely comes into play for sure right now. So coaches, thanks so much for joining us. As always, share your comments. Thanks for sharing our lives. You can click the share button. Thanks for liking, hearting these. It helps it get out to more coaches, and take the snippets and pieces, go back to it, fast forward to the session. Those are good to review and share with your teams. We hope it's been helpful for you. Let us know. And we look forward to seeing you next week, Monday, 5 o'clock. Take care, coaches. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.